Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, this is Boisterous coming to you with some goldly goodness out of the map Whirlwind LE. Spawning down here in the bottom left-hand corner, we do have LittleMan as the red Protoss, and up here in the top right-hand corner, we do have the random player Protostitute spawning this game as the blue Zerg. Now, of course, I actually did look at Protostitute's like ranking on the actual website, and it said silver, but in the replay it says he's gold, and I really don't know what league he is, so hopefully he will comment on this video in the future, and then I'll change the name, and then I'll just sound retarded during the first 30 seconds of the video before I actually get around to explaining my position and why I sound so retarded in the first 30 seconds of this video. So anyway, that's that. Also, if you guys want to watch a bit of a pre-show to the underrated team league that I will be doing starting April 8th, and then continuing on for like 3 or 4 months, because it's going to be a lot of games. I'm not going to be commentating all of it, but it will be about 750 hours of new content, and that's just estimated based on like 20 minutes a game. So there will be some games that are longer, some games that are shorter, and it'll probably end up being more than 750 hours. And if you guys want to watch that, you can head on over to underratedgaming.com. I really should have looked up that website. The link's going to be in the description. Just go to the link. I'll link their stream that you'll be able to watch all of this action on. And I'll also link my schedule once I get it more nailed down and once I know exactly when I'll be commentating. So we have both of our players just talking about standard stuff, you know, talking about campaign. And I just got a new set of headphones, and I did not realize how annoying they would be for commentating until literally this second, because they like drown out a lot of sound, and they're awesome for that, and they like are really great in gaming headphones for that. But they also drown out the sound of my own voice, so I need to commentate with like one ear uncovered, and I can't figure out which ear is better to be able to hear myself through. Because if I have it both covered, like I just sound weird, and then I start talking weird, and then it just doesn't work. So now I need to kind of have these, you know, uncovered, because, you know, then I don't sound weird or talk weird, even though I'm talking weird right now. And yeah, that's an interesting side effect to me talking about not talking weird. I start talking weird. Interesting. I'll need to look that one out. Oh, it looks like we do have the spawning pool coming out from Protostitute, so pretty standard for Whirlwind. It's very easy to get those very fast hatches down. As Zerg players, we do see the Protoss player going for kind of a more dangerous build. I mean, usually against Zerg, you see most Protoss players going for like Forge Fast expanded into either Stargate play or Big Robo play, and that's something that a lot of players can usually fight off as Zerg. And it's pretty easy to fight off as Zerg, and you could, like, at the most recent MLG, I mean, that was a clusterfuck, but it ended up being really, god damn it, I forgot to unplug the phone again. Alright, it ended up being, like, really, actually, Terran favored. The last MLG was ridiculously Terran favored. That was absurd. I think Terrans knocked out, like, every Zerg they came across except for Life. Life was the only one that had it figured out. And just by the way, this is a pro tip for Zerg players. If you're facing a Terran player in the early leagues, get pneumatized Carapace fast. It allows you to scout perfectly, and like you don't even need to really sacrifice Overlords for scouting at that point, because you can just fly them over the base every like 30 seconds. Because honestly, Terran players are doing a shit ton of different strategies in the lower leagues at this point. Like earlier today, I probably played 5 TVZs, and it was like Banshee Rush, Hellbat drop, Widowmine drop, Widowmine tech, or Widowmine siege tank play, Banshee tank play, and like none of them, I saw, like, I didn't see the first 2 coming in. I just lost outright because it was like, oh, he's going Banshees instead of Widowmines. This is weird. And then, oh, he's going Hellbat drops, and I thought I was prepared because I had like 4 queens, but with medevac boosters, you're totally not prepared. You need Hydras, and you know, as soon as I started getting pneumatized Carapace, I was like, oh, that's what you're doing. Better kill it. You know, and it actually works out really well, that early scouting information as Zerg, and I'm surprised that a lot of like players haven't started going for that. I think at the pro level of play, it's definitely a lot more like standardized as far as like what builds every race goes for. There's only like 3 or 4 viable builds for every race, because they're the ones that you can macro out well enough where you'll be able to beat another build from another race. So it actually standardizes a lot more. When you're in those early leagues, you definitely need better scouting than you do in like the pro players division, because pro players, they need to prepare for 3 or 4 strategies. There's not a huge amount of deviation. I mean, some players go for crazy shit, but they usually just lose outright because it's crazy shit, and like everybody, even if they're not prepared for it, can just fight it off because they have a standard army. But then in the lower leagues, especially if you're not particularly amazing at macro like myself, you really, really, really need that scouting information so that you can just get strict counters out onto people. And I think that that's just a strong thing to do. Protostitute rushed an infestation pit. Alright, Protostitute is rushing swarm hosts. Interesting. He's also sending drones across the map and a queen. Holy shit, he's not. No. Protostitute. No. Oh, Protostitute. No. You're not. Oh, Protostitute, please do. Oh, if he doesn't contain with swarm hosts, that is going to be hilarious. I don't see what else he would do. Maybe build like 4 offensive hatcheries at this point because he has 4 drones out there. But I definitely think he's going to do a contain with swarm hosts. Oh my god. Yep. Alright, there are the 3 spine crawlers going down. The creep tumor has already started. This is going to be contained with swarm hosts, and I can't believe the Protoss player hasn't seen this yet. I actually cannot physically believe that he has not sent 1 unit out yet. I mean, literally, if this happens like right in front of your base, you do not have enough map vision. Holy crap. He's setting up a base literally 3 feet away from the Protoss's base. If the Protoss was ever thinking, you know, now would be a good time to go for a 3rd, I'm pretty sure that I should scout out my Zerg opponent, see if he's gotten his 3rd. Literally, this would be revealed. But he's not. So, you know, he's going to have 7 spine crawlers in his base and in his face. And that's going to be hilarious. I'm surprised Protostitute hasn't built a Nidus network yet, because swarm hosts take a long-ass time to cross the map. And honestly, if the Protoss player just decided to push out right now, he would be able to clean this up without an issue. In fact, even once the locusts get here, it shouldn't, until there's like a lot of swarm hosts and a lot of locusts, it shouldn't be that much of an issue, especially because Enduring Locusts has not come up yet, and Enduring Locusts is actually what allows you to have a consistent stream of locusts. So yeah, see, now at this point, what you would want to do as a Protoss player is just drop like 3 or 4 force fields across like right here, and then just kill the spine crawlers. Because honestly, that's all you really need to do, because as soon as you can kind of block off those locusts, then all you need to do is send your stalkers in, and you will just kill off the spine crawlers, and then you just get out a very, very fast observer, and then you kill off the swarm hosts. We do see the observer completely bypassing this entire situation, which is an awful plan. Can I just mention that this is an awful plan? He's not sticking around. He does not want to even risk it. Wow, that's very, very silly. Oh god, he has things that are burrowed that he needs to deal with, and he's just sending his observer across the map. Alright, well anyway, we have the Protoss player doing exactly what you do not want to do versus Locusts, and just standing still, because as soon as you have Locusts at the front door, you need to engage them. You need to go head-to-head with them. You cannot just let them sit there and slowly pick away at your army. You need to do something to directly counteract them. We do see a Stargate on the way, which is one of those things that can directly counteract Locusts. However, I mean, it's a very, very late Stargate, and there's going to be a lot of Zerglings here. There's already a lot of spine crawlers. I'm surprised he hasn't built a couple of spore crawlers just to like lay around here, because honestly that would be like the icing on the cake of stopping this from happening. It looks like a time warp does go down, but it's not going to be enough to even try to stop this. This is a crap ton of damage going down onto the main Protoss force. A lot of locusts are going to continue spawning here, and this is a ton of swarm hosts. It looks like he is up to 10 swarm hosts, which is 20 locusts around, and 20 locusts do a ton of damage. They do 12 damage per shot. I think they do like 12 DPS. So it's like 240 DPS of just free units that aren't hard to kill, but you need splash to kill them, and he just does not have that. And honestly, this is getting bad, especially with the Immortal coming out. I have no idea why you'd make an Immortal against this army. It looks like we are going to see the Photon Overcharge going down onto the Nexus, and that's going to be reasonably effective, but honestly, you need to deal with the Swarm Hosts as soon as this starts happening. You cannot sit in your base, because you'll just see that the Protoss has lost a lot for nothing. If we look at the units lost tab, there we go. The Protoss is down 4,000 1,000 resources versus the 800 of the Zerg player. Now, I would just like to point out that if the Protoss player had pushed out early and taken out like these 3 spine crawlers like I told him to, you know, through time, like I told him to, through time, he actually would have been perfectly fine. Because, I mean, if he had done that force fieldy thing where you just hold off the locust, because that's honestly all you need to do, there would have been no chance. But now that these swarm hosts have started to become so cost efficient, I just don't know if this will be able to be held off anymore. We do see the Mothership Core going down, which is an awful thing to happen. You really need to get the Time Warp onto that thing. You really need to hit Prismatic Alignment, especially on the Void Rays, because Prismatic Alignment basically launches them up to the same charge that they used to have, and a lot of players don't actually use it that much, at least in these early leagues. It's almost like they still think that you have to charge Void Rays, and they're like, why aren't my Void Rays charging? And they're charging because you haven't hit the button yet, because this is literally just a one-button click. Now, I don't understand how the Protoss didn't just originally align the crystals so that it does maximum damage, because if you look at the actual like text of it, it says it realigns the Void Ray's prismatic beam. Why can't you just always realign it? Protoss, why can't you just do that? The Void Ray's gonna get sniped. Oh, whoa, the Void Ray did not get sniped. The Void Ray's gonna get sniped by a queen because he didn't put prismatic beam down. And this is way too many locusts to clean up. This observer is returning to the party super duper late. So we are going to see the natural go down, and I do not think there is a way in hell LittleMan can pull back from this. He's done absolutely nothing to his opponent at this point, and honestly, there could just be a flood of lings, and Protostitute would win the game without a question. Without a question in my mind, Protostitute would just wreck face in this game. It looks like we are finally going to see some sniping going down on the Swarm host, but it's just going to be a little bit too late, honestly. Prismatic Charge still hasn't been activated, otherwise these guys would be doing a lot more damage. Because these Swarm hosts are most certainly armored. The Spine Crawlers are armored. The Queen is psionic, so it actually wouldn't do bonus damage to the Queen. But he should definitely just activate it to do damage to everything else that he could have done damage to. It looks like the transfuse on the Queen is going to be up, but the Queen is just going to kite the Void Rays around, because it's slightly faster than Void Rays, or slightly the same speed as Void Rays. So the Queen is finally going to go down, but it bought enough time for the Swarm hosts to do significant damage to the main base, and this is game over. Even if he wiped out all the Swarm hosts right now, he would not have time to stop these Spine Crawlers before a reaction came out. Protostitute, interestingly enough, still has not gotten a Hydra Den. And when you're in a situation like this where you're just going to win flat out, I would just get a Hydra Den and be 100% sure. Never mind, he went Mass Corruptor. Alright, never mind. He's perfectly fine. I can't believe I missed that in the production tab, because this is a lot of Corruptors. This is a full tab. This is 24 Corruptors. That's a crap ton of them. And that's going to be a solid win. I don't think there's any other way for this game to go. And there, LittleMan does leave the game. No GG. So BM. Ouch. Alright, so anyway guys, if you'd like any more Boisterous action, you can head over to youtube.com/user/boisteroussc2. Also, if you'd like your games commentated, you can I lend you to send them on into boisteroussc2@gmail.com. I will prioritize HOTS games and non-team games, because that's just what I do. But other than that, I will then do team games in HOTS, and then Wings of Liberty games, and then Wings of Liberty team games. And I'll take free-for-all over like everything else, because free-for-all games are freaking hilarious, and I love yelling at 4 people at the exact same time. So anyway, guys, if you would like to get your games commentated, because I'm not sure if I actually said the email yet, you can send them on into boisteroussc2@gmail.com. I do believe I already pinned out my YouTube, but it's youtube.com/user/boisteroussc2, in case I didn't, because I lost track of what I was saying by the time I got to the mid part of that sentence. So anyway, before I ramble even more, this is Boisterous, signing out.